Hi, everybody. This is Marilyn. Do we have some audio on this? I think, maybe. Yes, thanks. Hello, everybody. This is Marilyn, and it is noon on the 9th of March. This is March 9th, and it's time for Welcome to My World. So, we had lots of interesting things this morning. Ahead of the crude oil inventory, we had the Bank of Canada go public with the idea that they are going to hold their rates where they are, and the Canadian dollar responded in a very happy manner. And it seemed to, I'm not sure if it actually took the Australian dollar and the euro with it, but it was very happy. And that's an indication the Canadian economy is tied to crude oil. They are large producers of crude oil, the same as the U.S. So that the commodity currency for crude oil that it tracks with fairly closely is the Canadian dollar. So anyway, these when I look at all the indices, the U.S. indices across the board from this morning, they sure didn't move much overnight, and they have been in kind of a choppy mode. We had about a 11 o'clock turnaround today. I'm not real sure that's going to hold into the close because there's a lot of nervousness going on in these markets with there's a big meeting in Europe Thursday. The economic, the brain trust, it's the FOMAC basically of Europe. And we'll just have to see what they're going to come up with. They have not hesitated in the past to do this wonderful easing, which tends to send the European economy into a bit of a problem. So, who knows? We'll just trade what we see, but we might get some volatility out of this over the rest of this week, and certainly next week is going to be a very busy day in these markets. This morning we've got the VIX trading about, it's over 18, it's 1846 right now. And if that continues to climb, we'll see the bears start to take control of the indices. The U.S. dollar is down fairly sharply today. And gold has been both directions. For people that traded gold this morning, you had trades going both directions. It's always better if that's not at the same time. But it sold off for a while, and then all of a sudden it turned around and went the other way about 10:30. This afternoon, we're going to have at 1:01 is the scheduled time. The 10-year note auction they'll announce the numbers on that. So if you are interested in bonds or learning about bonds, it might be a good opportunity today to pull up a ZN chart and watch and see what happens around 1 o'clock. Tomorrow will be the 30-year note, the 30-year long bond auction will be tomorrow, and they do these at 1 o'clock. It's that they schedule them for 1:01. I'm not sure this 1 minute, but I did want to show you on bonds this morning because this was really super nice. 2 trades. I use the C's thing, but I modify it a little bit because if you're going to trade bonds, they're just being where they're they move very slowly, very, very slowly. But that's why I like the trend catcher entries that I put on here. But this was a great entry right here about a little before 9:30, and the entry was, you had several tick spots to take that entry. One was at the deviation. One was there's a magnet right here at 6226. One's at one tick more at the top of the buy zone, and then the trend catcher put this in. This is pretty strong indication of a nice place to catch 10 tick ride on the bond bus. And yes, it went for more, but if you, I mean, keep in mind 10 ticks is a nice safe thing to start with. And so yes, it went up here to the open, and there's a couple other streets up here, and then it put in this sell zone right here. This entry right here back the other way, you had to be willing to sit through this sling. But remember what Lori says about the third bar sling. That's usually very valid. But the entry on this was right at the bottom of the sell zone, and the trend catcher put a marker in a tick below that. So this was a good thing also for a 10 tick ride down the other way. It takes a little while for it to get going. And if you're real brave and you wanted to take this this sling up in here with a tight, short uh, stop on that thing to protect yourself, that's not a bad idea either. I'm not quite that brave. I want it to be a little more in keeping with the way I like to trade. And I found these zones. I love these zones. They're super nice. So, crude oil this morning. I think we have some new people that have probably never sat through crude oil inventory or paid too much attention to it. But I did want to point out something. The inventory comes out at 10:30, and it will either be above forecast or below forecast. And so it usually causes a lot of volatility. And just to show you that, if you look, this is another reason for using a time-based chart in conjunction with the diagnostic or continuum or whatever it is you use. But on this Alchemy chart, here is 10:30. The inventory was announced. Okay, go over on the chart. We're still at 10:30. We're still at 10:30. We're 10:30, 10:30, 10:30, all the way over here, and then we're at 10:31. So, needless to say, trying to take a trade in this is, I mean, it's impossible. You can't. You've got a moving bus. There's no way that you can take that entry. So, what you do is wait. Clearly, we had very nice. I mean, just look at the EMA and the E's consistently going higher. Everything, the A's consistently going higher. So there was a good possibility of a trend up, but you can't jump in right at 10:30. That's really tough, and you never know what it might do. But I thought I had the ice on this diagnostic chart. I'm going to put it on there. I just noticed it wasn't on there, but it is on the Alchemy. And when it's the bias is to up, and you've given it about 5 minutes, and it clears this green ice, then that's a reasonably safe trade up to this major magnet, which is 37.95, and that would have given you 25 ticks in relatively short order and relatively safely. So, what do we know about what happens when you get to either a major huge magnet or a deviation level? I don't care what market it is, it's going to chop around in there. So take your ticks, be happy, and wait. Then if you want to catch it another direction, then you can look for whatever you like to use for an entry, or follow the rules on the Alchemy or C's or whatever it is that you use. But don't expect, just because it's inventory and it's going up, when it gets to these major magnets and deviations, that it's just going to keep on keeping on, because that may not be the case. And the safe thing is to take your ticks, get out. There's no law that says you can't get back in, but let everybody else do all this choppy junk around here, and wait for better bus. So anyway, I did want to point that out. And we've got news tomorrow. Tomorrow morning at 8:30. You want to be kind of careful. Tomorrow morning, there's a couple of Canadian economic numbers out, but the Euro, the European Central Bank, is having a press conference at 8:30. And this is likely to be causing a little volatility, both in the currencies in particular. So if you trade these Forex pairs on Nadex, or you're trading spot Forex, I'd be real alert at 8:30. The U.S. also puts out their weekly unemployment claims at 8:30. So then at 10:30 tomorrow is nat gas, and at 1:01 tomorrow is the 30-year bond auction. So if you have been trading bonds, tomorrow is a good day to understand that likely in the morning there will not be super clear trades, because the big boys wait until they're just waiting to see what happens, see what comes out at 1. So don't unless you have a very clear signal and you have the volume to support your trade, be careful of trading bonds in the morning until that auction comes out. So I think that's about it. I don't see anything else that strikes me right this moment. I think we've had some questions in here about 3 or 4 things. I've been a little bit busy, so if you didn't get your question answered by somebody or other, and you still have that question out there, please just ask it again. It's not a problem. It's never a problem. We just sometimes get busy and don't happen to see it at the opportune moment. So anyway, this has been my view from my world in Apex land, brought to you by Apex Investing. I'll see you tomorrow about noon. Thanks.